Hedera makes history. Lots of updates for HBAR. Let's get into this and why it matters to you, because guess what? Something about this particular ISO asset that separates itself from the pack, not even being a actual blockchain, the gossip protocol, the Hedera consensus algorithm, the protocol in itself. My goodness.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
I have many friends that are earning every single day trading futures on BTCC. It's a simple process, and even if you don't want to learn how to trade, you could follow a trader on the site and let him do the trading for you. And again, I'm not trying to have any of you guys use your hard-earned money to lose anything. You don't know what you're doing? Don't jump into this, but there is money to be made, and don't use your nest egg for leverage trading. Use a separate portfolio. But I suggest learn how to trade. Earn you some extra money on BTCC. It's easy. You don't have to KYC, and you don't have to use a virtual private network VPN. This is a wonderful site. They've been around since 2011. Give them a shot. Also, when you earn that extra money, you can store that on your Decent wallet. The Decent wallet was not affected by the XRPL debacle, where the backdoor of many wallets was open and there was a breach. So Decent wallet was not affected by that. Decent wallet is as safe as you keep your seed phrase. It's a wonderful product, and you can get the discount by using the link. It's the only way to get the affiliate discount, and that is to use an affiliate link. So that link is popping up on the upper right side of your screen, and it is the one that you will use. You will also get free shipping. Pick you up a Decent wallet today. Secure your assets. If you don't have them stored in a wallet and sitting on an exchange, then you're at risk. So pick you one up today. Thank you. So what do we have? Well, consider smashing that like. We're going to jump into this, and we're going to start off with this new video. Came out roughly 4 hours ago, straight from Hedera, their official YouTube account. I'm going to pull this up on your screen, and it's not that long, but it's really, really good. And we're going to play this, right now. So here we go.
In the future, everything of value will be tokenized. With decentralization and DLT, real-world assets can be fractionalized, shared, and traded instantly, unlocking new sources of liquidity. Introducing Hedera, a public DLT network for building fast, secure, and compliant tokenization solutions. Hedera is ideal for financial markets, where tokenized assets demand high volume and real-time settlement. The platform supports native tokenization and EVM-based smart contracts, while offering built-in token compliance and integrations with KYC AML providers. Hedera is governed by top-tier enterprises, who each run a network node and are subject to legal requirements. Thanks to its consensus mechanism, transaction ordering remains fair and tamper-proof. No single participant or coalition can manipulate it. All transactions are fixed in USD, which is ideal for high-volume use cases. And there's already over 1 billion tokenized on the network. Discover why Hedera is the trust layer for tokenization. What future will you tokenize?
Gotta love it. Let's go into the next part of what we have. This is officially from Hedera Foundation. They pointed out, at least yesterday, that at that time it marked history as HBAR became the third ever crypto ETF to launch after BTC and Ethereum. No, I'm not necessarily late to the party. I have other key insights I want to jump into for you guys, but like they point out, to make this clear, out of the 19 million plus cryptocurrencies that CoinMarketCap tracks, I think it's higher than that personally, it was the Canary Fund's HBAR ETF that passed, citing Hedera's institutional grade network. That's big, absolutely big. This basically just plays the music. If you're wondering why the music was muted out of that commercial, I don't want to get hit with the copyright, so if you're wondering where's all the flair, that's what happened. I do like this thread though, and I want to share it with you guys. So it says, to get here, Hedera did not take the easy path. Ladies and gentlemen, if you think about it, like, what about you? Yes, you. Do you feel as though that you weather the many storms of crypto? You know, sometimes I do take a look at the comments. I can't look at all of them. One time I actually did. It took me like 8 hours, and I looked at the time. I was like, wow, that was not a good use of my time. But again, there are some good comments and there's some bad comments. And one of the comments I see consistently is people getting shaked out of all this. Like somebody pointed out, you know, the flip of the switch, these switches, they're not working. Again, that tells me that these people have not researched this stuff. Again, regulations have to pass. You may get absolutely impatient when it comes to that, but appreciate the ones that built something solid with a rock solid foundation, hence the Hedera Foundation. Getting further into this, I want to point out that from day one, The network was designed to be regulatory compliant and architected from the ground up to host mission critical enterprise and institutional grade use cases. Let's face it, 5-10 years from now, you'll appreciate that they did do these things. This other area, this meant no cutting corners, no legal gray areas exploited, just a mission-driven approach to onboard the world's largest institutions to Web3. At that time, they were celebrating their commitment, which was positioning at the time the network to capture not just institutional grade use cases, but also institutional capital. Furthermore, alongside the spot ETF listing from Canary, there are 12 other ETFs filed that reference HBAR. Grayscale, Hedera Trust. This one, which I'm not really too familiar with, but might as well mention them, Rex Financial. They have basically a HBAR ETF, Canary American Made Crypto ETF. So that's actually good to point out because that's American made. There's this one as well, who's T. Rowe Price. And that basically mentions, an active crypto ETF, okay, intended for US audiences only. So again, a lot of focus on US. That's some of the stuff that you guys want to see, right? You want to be US. We also see here 21 shares. Everybody should know about them. Probably not, right? World's largest crypto ETP provider. If you're new to what ETP is, exchange traded product, not fund. They have an FTSE Crypto 10 Index ETF. Crane shares, Coinbase 50 Index ETF. You see ProShares, CoinDesk, Crypto 20 ETF. I mean, on and on and on. So these things are great to share. I like this other one. For some networks, ETFs may be the end game. For Hedera, this is just one piece of the puzzle. Next up, institutional grade DeFi. That is interesting. I think that will be something that I imagine will get a lot of coverage. Shout out to a guy you should be following. Basically, I think you guys are aware of Brandon, the HBAR Bull. He's got great coverage. There's also King Solomon, if you want consistent, let's face it, Hedera updates, and even outside Hedera, right? Your XDCs and so on. But this has been a long time coming. We hope you join as we continue to onboard the world's largest institutions to the network. And what do we see here? Pioneering the best-in-class governance. I would agree. I don't know of any governing council that's better than this. Rest in peace, Elizabeth Howard, aka Space Chick. We talked about this a few times in our Hedera collaborations. She thought that Hedera was the bee's knees. They still are. You see here Aberdeen. You see here Australian Payments Plus, which I believe is part of ISO TC 307, the Quant Network standard. Blockchain for Energy, BitGo, Chainlink. You see Dell, right? Remember those commercials back in the day? Dude, you're getting a Dell, man. Yeah. Well, Google, Hitachi, IBM. IBM is literally in everything. AI governance with Casper. They got their thing going on BSV. They got some ties to Quant, Stellar, Stronghold, you name it, right? I think even some Ripple. I think I covered that in the past. Hard to keep up with everything. Shout out to Channing. He's always point out like Mondelez. Remember how we did some deep dives about Mondelez? Like if you don't know about Mondelez, my goodness, right? They're huge. So other big names here, Standard Bank, Ubisoft, obviously I'm into gaming, a bunch of these, right? Very, very impressive. The other thing I want to jump into basically is taking over to a little bit more of why we point out some of these things. So this was shared literally yesterday, right? Because let's face it, tomorrow is Halloween. So this is October 29th. And I don't really need to play the music on this, but basically EQTY Lab plus Accenture. Yesterday, EQTY Lab, if you're not aware of them, they are AI Integrity, and Accenture crossed a major milestone for Verifiable AI with Hedera, launching a new AI agent governance solution for governments and enterprises. That's big. Showcased at NVIDIA GTC. That's important. The solution has been integrated into a multi-agent gateway developed by Accenture. And even when it comes to Quant Network, we see AI agents that could be deployed to 2,900 plus apps. You ever wonder why you see some of these things? Do you ever ask yourself why that is? There's common ground here when it comes to Hedera and Quant. Paulo Tasca was a professor, by the way, who's also got a key Hedera role. And on top of that, a key role with the Quant Network. He was co-founder along with Gilbert Verdian. I think that's something that most people should not dismiss because, again, the concept of what you see, this AI integration, those agents and so on. Taking into the other part I want to highlight for you guys. Let's pull this up as well. This is a good thread. As governments scale their uses of autonomous AI agents, the complexity and risk of these systems also grows. And this means there's a crucial need for a solution that creates verifiable controls across automated and human workflows for both safety and compliance. Again, don't dismiss the terminology about compliance. You ever wonder why we throw ISO 222 in the mix is because that whole key thing of being compliant. We did mention EQTY Labs. They have a new AI governance solution, which adds a verifiable digital trust layer. Again, think about IBM with their AI governance, so that's huge. This will leverage Hedera Consensus Service, the HCS, for validating the security, trustworthiness, and auditability of agentic AI systems. How about this? By linking these verifiable records to sovereign, regulatory, and operational policies, the compliance of autonomous systems can be continuously monitored and verified in real time. Yes, real time. So that's major. This marks an important step forward in AI agentic trust, showing the utility of Hedera to lead in verifiable AI. So clearly, both Quant and Hedera have their own layer of what? Trust. And again, think about the common ground. Palo Tasca, Hedera, Palo Tasca, Quant Network, co-founder. All right, a little bit more about this. A live demonstration at NVIDIA GTC in Washington, D.C., by the way. So that's great to see this. This week showcased a breakthrough technology reference architecture and training protocol to assist government agencies in quickly and efficiently deploying agentic solutions. This is so major. To get those type of eyeballs on Hedera, well, for one, I think they've already known about Hedera for years, but this should make you that much more bullish for the bigger picture of Hedera. The demonstration included a novel tabletop exercise designed to help government agencies train personnel, and simulate real-world scenarios from AI-assisted emergency management to cyber incident response. And oh, by the way, not that long ago, I did a video where we saw numerous examples, right? Not just Ripple and some of these other ones, but a great example of how Hedera, by definition, since some of you guys are asking about this, is what, everybody? It is quantum resistant, and if anything, it might stand out as the one that is the most. I would imagine also with Quant Network, right? That in itself is profound, because in the future, we have to have these technologies to be quantum resistant. Pulling up more about this, we see here that basically it's first of its kind training methodology implemented into a multi-agent framework, was designed by Accenture, by the way, running on NVIDIA DGX Cloud for Hedera. This will help personnel develop the practical expertise needed to supervise, audit, and govern large-scale agentic systems in accordance with state and federal regulations. Again, not just federal, but even the state. So this means that this is a big, big deal. And the last one, this marks the next chapter in our work with EQTY Lab and Accenture to enable verifiable AI for governments, enterprises, public sector organizations, enabling them to accelerate their AI transformations with both safety and compliance. There's an official article about that. I want to take you over to this just for a brief moment. I don't want to harp on this too long. But again, what is highlighted, two key areas that definitely I want to highlight again, because NVIDIA, we pointed this out in the past, and I'll show citation from Smoke. So for one, this happened on October 28th. The solution brings together advanced multi-agent orchestration, verifiable compute, and again, all this thing about AI workflows, even Quant, what they have with the Quant Overledger, Pipedream, Make.com, Zapier, Whippy, AI workflows. And number two, might even be tied for number one, powered by NVIDIA DGX Cloud. That is very, very important. Showcased at NVIDIA GTC, again, major milestones. So they cite everything that we just basically talked about. I didn't have a chance to highlight this. I do want to highlight this. And basically, it's the person from Accenture. So we're going to take a moment to highlight that. In the quote, the person from Accenture mentioned, the key obstacle to scale the adoption of AI agentic systems has been the difficulty to evidence compliance with policies needed for the data, models, and compute. This solution creates a new methodology for runtime observability that is critical to building trustworthy and safe AI agentic solutions, says Brian Rich, Senior Managing Director and Global AI Lead for Health, Public Sector, and Defense at Accenture. So as much as we could talk about like Constellation Dag, which, let's face it, they get most of the flowers when it comes to defense, we clearly see yet another example of what Hedera with defense. And I definitely want to point that out. Now, yes, I do feel Dag is an absolute sleeper as well. They definitely always get mentioned in regard to defense. So I didn't want to dismiss or skip over that key area. The other area I want to jump into now is, again, just highlighting a little bit of Accenture. Again, if you're new, you might wonder why, point them out. Well, like I said, together, we deliver on the promise of technology, human ingenuity. Let there be change. If you go over to their site, which is Accenture.com, again, you can really read up on some of this stuff. And basically speaking, together, like it says, reinvented, scaling AI. You have to have solutions that have scalability. And the AI sector, well, even with them, AI is constantly scaling every day, is it not? How many times have you guys seen some of these videos, especially was it Sora? You know, you can see Tony Montana down in Miami Beach. You can see Mr. Rogers with Tupac. You know, you can see all sorts of things. That looks pretty realistic, right? But again, think about where we were with Chat GPT and where we're at now, especially when it comes to AI. It's getting pretty crazy, you know, absolutely. So how do you really scale that? Well, again, Accenture, part of the mix. They have their case studies. They have their own ties to government. So this collaboration, I think, is absolutely worth pointing out. And I do want to highlight this as well. AI is only a technology, but the value comes from reinvention of how we work our workforces and the tools we use. We're making sure that we are leading the way with our own reinvention, says Julie Sweet, quoted in Fortune. This was back in roughly August, September 2025. Again, the tools. Appreciate that there is integrations with this. Appreciate that there is tools in that regard. All right, enough about the whole AI thing. I do want to point this out. Smoke pointed this out a while back, right? HBAR with NVIDIA. Maybe you've never seen this. Going to play this as well. This is under 2 minutes. I'll have to mute the music, but you'll make sense of it. Here we go.
As artificial intelligence continues to cement itself as a core part of the emerging digital economy, the lack of transparency in how AI models are trained, developed, and deployed presents significant risks, not only to enterprises, but to society as a whole. In order to address this critical challenge, Equity Lab, in collaboration with industry titans NVIDIA and Intel, has developed Verifiable Compute, the first hardware-based solution to govern and audit AI workflows using the blockchain. Verifiable Compute introduces a cryptographic AI notary system that creates tamper-proof records of every data object and code computed during AI processes. This hardware-based approach ensures explainability, accountability, and security at runtime. The foundational trust layer of this solution is Hedera, creating a trusted, immutable ledger of AI computations. Every operation performed on compatible Intel CPUs and NVIDIA GPUs is recorded with precise timestamping, enabling auditable trails and smart contract orchestration across AI protocols. As AI integration deepens across finance, healthcare, media, and public sectors, this solution will establish new standards for transparent, verifiable AI systems, bringing unprecedented trust to our increasingly AI-driven world.
All right, glad to share that. Big up the smoke on that one. Let's get into this next part. I think we have, let me see just real quick, roughly about 2 or 3 more tabs. This is good stuff. Again, we're not mentioning not necessarily so much about price. These videos won't get as much views as some of the other ones, but you got to talk about the main fundamentals, right? So Smoke points this out, and I want to get more into this. This is so good. Real treat for you guys. HBARs, right? Plural, right? That's interesting. HBARs are used as fuel to pay for network services and to reward nodes for providing resources to the network. This is documented. Well, what do we have? Well, let's blow this up. Appreciate you guys watching from your TVs, but there's a lot of people watching from their phones. And let's shrink this down just a tad bit so it fits a little bit better on the screen. And we see here HBARs as fuel. We also see here on the Hedera network, HBARs are used as a fuel to pay for network services, to submit transactions, run smart contracts, store files, use the Hedera consensus servers. I mean, in reality, like Ethereum does that same thing, but it's real expensive, is it not? Absolutely. And we also see this is going to reward nodes for providing their computing resources, bandwidth, processing power, and memory to the network. And this part isn't highlighted, but I do want to mention this. Hedera consensus services are expected to cost 0.301, which is 1/100th of a cent. There's other ones that are way cheaper, like Stellar and so on, but still, I mean, compare that to the likes of your Ethereum. It's not even, no comparison, right? So I definitely thought I would highlight that and share that with you. Want to jump back to the other area that Smoke has for us. 2025 tokenomics of HBAR. Some seeing it, some haven't. Don't forget about this. This is good as well. And we're going to blow this up. So basically, tokenomics of HBAR. What we see here is, as of February of this year, 2025, the circulating supply of HBAR is 41.9 billion with a total supply of 50 billion. The initial distribution of HBAR was as follows. And as you see here, the HBAR allocation from Hedera pre-minted treasury represents 32.4% of the total supply. The economic development is 24%, purchase agreements 17.4%. The founders and early executives like obviously Dr. Lehman Baird, Mance Harmon, probably even what? Paulo Tasca, remember I mentioned him, 13.8%. There's some other ones. Swirls, which is mainly, I believe, Mance Harmon's side of things, 8%, and the employees 4.4%. So that's worth pointing out. The other area I want to jump into, taking a little bit further into all of this from our brother in space, Smoke. is basically this area. Excuse me, let's jump into that. And actually, that was the last area. I apologize. It's actually Tokenizer. Yeah, so big up to Tokenizer. Thank you, of course, to Smoke. Give Tokenizer a follow. He's got newsletters for you guys, all sorts of stuff, right? He can be followed at Tokenizer. We follow each other. I love his statement of making enterprise blockchain research fun. Isn't that the point? Some of you guys get bored with stuff, but it's all about making it fun. Great teachers will make things fun. Project Acacia, CBDC with OSPay Plus, BIS 1 and DLT Innovation Challenge, used with Algorand for CBDC tests, which in another video, I believe with Jesse of over at Apex Crypto Insights, we're going to do some deep dive collaboration in regard to a little bit of including some Algorand. Drop in Fed now, ISO 222 payments. He's got a typo there. He's allowed to be human, everybody. Novati AUDC for cross-border POC, and MTech partner with Bank of Ghana. I remember when my aunt was a missionary over there back in the 80s. Anyway, we see here in the posting, what do you have? Well, I mentioned specifically Reserve Bank of Australia, right? You see, of course, everything we just mentioned. And Hedera right in the middle, connecting to all of this, especially the BIS with DLT Innovation Challenge, Novati, Drop with FedNow. I mean, this is all big, especially Novati, right? Monetary Authority of Singapore. We've had some key documents, PDFs that we shared on this channel. But again, don't forget about the whole thing about Drop with FedNow. That was so important to recognize that as well. And of course, glad to share it from specifically, obviously, Tokenizer. A tad bit more about this. Don't want to go super long. You have to keep in mind back on October 25th, not that long ago, Tokenizer did point out that he got much more detailed information regarding HBAR and central banks, and he breaks it down in the orbit. So make sure to join, if you choose to do so, his free private Telegram community to be the first to get his enterprise DLT content. All the alpha deep dives that don't make it to X can be found below. I mean, I don't have to mention this, but you know, let's face it, he provides us quality content for free right here. And of course, he's got premium content as well. Like I have premium content with my Patreon. So I just want to show that with you guys. You can take a look into that if you choose to do so. The URL for the Telegram is t.me/tokenizerorbit. Okay. You can learn more about things on HBAR. He does an excellent job, quant, etc., etc. So that is the update for the day. Glad to share some Hedera HBAR content with you guys. Hey, do me a solid if you listen to all of it. It gives me great feedback to see who's paying attention, or the ones that just click on the thumbnail, go right to the comments, or trolls and so on. And type in this key phrase into the comments, and that is no trolls. Yes, no trolls. Right? Not no scrubs like TLC, right? No trolls. And I'll know that you listen to the entire outline. As the saying goes, know what you have, know why you hold it. The research trumps FUD and trolls 110%. We'll see you, yes, you, the guy never comments, who listens on the way to work and back like it's radio. Trump's FUD 110%. We'll see you guys, yes, every one of you, on the next video. May the Lord Jesus bless you all. Over and out.